are back live, radioonfire.com from Radio on Fire Studios live in Baltimore, east side of Baltimore. This is the SpeakEasy, and I am one half of the SpeakEasy, EJ Stewart, and we have
Jennifer Pope here.
Miss
Hey,
Pope,
Baltimore.
as most people like to call it, Miss Pope. And today we have DK in the studios as usual, running the boards for us. But today we got a special guest, my good brother, my good friend, boxer, pro boxer. Should be back in the ring, but he's bullshitting. Pro boxer, corporate lawyer, investor, advocate, uncle, Jamaican with like 20 jobs.
Man of many hats.
Man of many hats.
I'm trying to live up to my Jamaican heritage.
Did I leave out anything, brother? Venroy July, how you doing, sir?
Doing good.
Good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Good to see you. Good to see
Be
you.
a part of the show, so let's see what I can add.
Venroy July, corporate lawyer, boxer, advocate, living in Baltimore by way of New York. I gotta say that, right?
Yep. I was in DC first.
You was in DC
So
first.
I bounced around New York, North Carolina, DC, and now Baltimore.
And then you got woke and came to Baltimore.
Been there for 6 years. I ain't leaving no time soon, so it works.
Speaking of that, Brother July is, he is a big time advocate of Baltimore City.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put your business out there, man. You got a nice shirt. You make decent money out here. What employs you? What employs you to stay here in this city and believe in this city so much?
Man, honestly, so
Talk to Mike, man.
one of the big reasons why I'm so big into Baltimore is that when I look at Baltimore, it reminds me of what Harlem was when I first came to America.
When you first came to America. Jesus Christ.
Cats forget, like Harlem was rough back in the day.
Very rough.
Brooklyn was terrible. And
Very
being
rough.
from the Bronx, like you almost never went to those places because there was always some danger of you getting jumped or something like that. Or shot. There's not that much difference.
Taft Project. Shout out
Taft Project. Like, I went
Shout
to
out
school.
to Taft
I
Project.
remember going down Grand Concourse in the Bronx, and cats would just be fighting you or shooting for no reason, right? So
I wasn't sure.
right. So now I look at Baltimore, it's not that much different, right? And now we see what happened in a couple of years. Now all of a sudden in Harlem, they're taking tours of Harlem.
Starbucks.
Right. I heard somebody, I was talking to one of my friends, and one of her friends came and was talking, and the guy was like, yeah, I'm about to get married. We finally found something affordable that we can buy. So we started talking a little bit more, and I was like, kind of figuring out what's affordable in Harlem. He said he just bought a house for $770,000. That's affordable all of a sudden in Harlem. Back in the day, when people forget that back in Harlem, they used to have programs similar where they were just giving houses away. Mm-hmm. That's what buying houses for $5,000 in Harlem back in the day. And so I look at Baltimore, and you can kind of see some of the stuff that's happening already. If you go down to Harbor East, you can see what the plans for the city. And so I just think that it's going to happen, and it's just a matter of time. You look at the geography of Baltimore; it's just a matter of time. So yeah, that's why I'm big on Baltimore. I just think there's tons of opportunities I don't want to miss out again. I'm trying to get other people to start investing too.
Trying to get on the front end of it.
Yeah, we missed out on a lot. You go to Brooklyn right now, there may be people that look like us that are part of that movement or that have acquired wealth, right? And so I think that Baltimore, there's a prime opportunity for us to do it. We know that there are things that happen here. We're in the middle of like the government contracting sector, so there's always going to be money there. We have a tech revitalization that's happening here. I think Baltimore is really one of the top 10 cities for tech, like last year. So you think about what's going on here. I mean, Baltimore is like one of the most well-educated cosmopolitans in America.
But Venroy, I mean, the people that you might have went to school with, the people that, they look at you and they look at what you do and they say, I mean, why there? It's 200 plus murders. Why there?
I mean, because honestly, like one of the things about it, right? One of the real reason why I really love Baltimore. Baltimore is one of them cities that if you're just trying to do something, people look out. Right. Like I remember, like within the first 2 years of me being here, I felt like if there was anybody who I need to get in contact with, I could get in contact with them.
Right.
One or two steps, I could call somebody, and I could be in the room with the mayor if I wanted to. That's not the case in New York. That's not the case in some other big cities. You definitely can't do that in DC.
Absolutely.
Right? And so you think about like the accessibility to people who can influence the things that you care about. Then you think about the price point. And, to be honest, I hate to say it, but like similar to what probably happens in Chicago, where there's a ton of murders also, there is definitely that a lot of that stuff is happening in concentrated areas. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like I'm walking, I box. So I am in some of those neighborhoods, but otherwise I'm not like running down the street and seeing people get murdered. Right. So I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about trying to push some of the development into some of those neighborhoods without necessarily displacing those people and finding ways to kind of make sure that they're getting a piece of the development that's happening. So, that's why Baltimore. And, there's a lot of murders here, but we'll figure that out. All that stuff always gets cleared up and dealt with in a wash. We've seen it happen over and over again in cities. So,
I mean, speaking of the murders, Jen, did you want to talk about or ask Ray about the mayor's plan or discuss the mayor's plan?
Well, before we get into the mayor's plan, what were your thoughts on the most recent ceasefire that we had over the weekend?
So
good question.
So I know a couple of the people that organized that ceasefire. Listen, I was not convinced that dope boys on the corner, whoever were committing these murders, were gonna, if they saw somebody who they wanted to kill, were not gonna kill that person. Absolutely because not. They thought that the ceasefire was on.
Absolutely,
that was never gonna happen. But I do think it's a good start, right?
You think it's a good start. Or you don't think it's? I think
it's a good start. I think that there has to be something that happens next, right? I mean, listen, crime happens because people have lack of resources and lack of opportunity. Until we kind of address those issues, murders are going to continue to happen. Until you start addressing some of the fundamental things in the society that cause people to kill people, that's going to happen. But I do think it's necessary for the citizenry to say, all right, well, we need to be active. We need to be out of these communities. We need to try to tell these people that we're not going to stand for this. Because if we don't say nothing, it's going to continue to happen.
So the ceasefire, I also agree. It was a good idea. However, I didn't feel like it was practical because when you think about the people that are committing these crimes, if they had the reserve to say, I'm not going to do this for 72 hours, if that was the population of people that, were being targeted, we wouldn't have the crime rate that we had.
Right.
So, to say that people would care to not do any murders for 72 hours is...
Yeah, but I'm not even sure, honestly. So I don't know. Like I haven't spoken to people about it specifically if they really thought that cats were just not going to kill people for 72 hours. But I think more importantly is about the messaging, right?
Well, that's what I do agree. I know they had some free cookouts. They had some events going on throughout the city.
Yeah, it's not only cookouts though. They were doing, because I actually went down to one of the ceasefire ones. They had like expungement clinics. Okay. They had people that were there helping with housing. And it was funny because I actually asked the same question because I was like, why are y'all doing this at night? And the person who was organizing it said to me, you would be surprised at how many people came out here at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night to get an expungement.
Well, yeah, that's common social work practice. Right. You got to go where the people are.
Right. And so to me, it's like not only, listen, I'm not one to like criticize somebody who's trying to do some good things. Even if it didn't work, they're trying. Right.
The attempt is better than not.
You definitely can't knock the effort.
And so they tried to do something and the messaging was out and now we'll see what happens next.
Right.
We'll see what happens next.
Right.
DK has a question.
If you say that you want to lose weight, right, but you spend a lot of time buying different clothes so you can look better, right?
Right.
You say, I'm trying to I want to lose weight and I want to buy them, but I don't like the way my clothes fit, so I'm buying new clothes.
Right.
You're not doing any working out.
Right.
You're not eating differently. But the effort is focused on buying different clothes.
Right.
And so you successfully buy a new wardrobe and all this kind of stuff to look better. But you haven't lost any weight. You haven't attacked any of the issues to make you lose weight. How successful? Y'all see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you buy spandex.
we with you. We with you.
That's what you do down there. You buy spandex.
No,
but if you think about what she's saying,
what's causing the murders? That hasn't been.
But
right, my analogy is you buy spandex, so you might look a little smaller, but you're not actually smaller.
Absolutely.
Which is completely ineffective.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
but
the point.
yeah, but the problem is that like I think that we're kind of simplifying stuff, right? So the issues that are causing these crimes ain't gonna happen in 72 hours.
But
It ain't gonna happen in 3 years.
Because it's so big, we just don't attack it. We do a lot of little shit.
No, not really.
Pat ourselves on the back and say, I'm doing something.
So I agree with you on the part where all too often we're just doing stuff to do stuff so we can pat ourselves on the back. I do agree with that.
Absolutely.
I don't think that this necessarily was an example of that, right?
When we get to the NFL,
Well, we can talk about that, but we got to be clear. Like, I want us to be clear. Like, the people who organize this, who at least the people who I know who were involved in this ceasefire, they're people who are doing the work day to day. They're on the ground doing the work, and they understand the struggles that are happening. We have to recognize that a lot of things that are going to happen, that are causing a lot of these crimes, my belief is because of lack of opportunities. Right? Until we start getting some of the business people involved, because you hear all these stats. There's actually an article out today about how at BWI they have all these jobs available, people can't get there. Right? Same thing at University of Maryland. I know I live in West Baltimore or Southwest Baltimore.
Southwest.
And you see it, whatever. People
Absolutely Southwest Baltimore. You want Southwest Baltimore? Go ahead with it. Go ahead with it. It's all right. I tell you, I got
second of all.
Let's go.
Actually, while you're at, but the fact of the matter is that like even at University of Maryland, they're constantly talking about, they're doing these presentations that talk about they have like hundreds of jobs, people can't get there, right? But one of the fundamental issues which you know about is because of the lack of transportation, right? So those people up there that can't get to these jobs where the jobs are, and people aren't like starting these multi-million-dollar businesses in the hood. So those people have to either find a way to get to these jobs, and if they cannot, then obviously the next resort is to commit crime if they can't find job opportunities. But they have to feed their family.
It's also that is a part of it, and systemically, when you look at the education system, when you look at the fact that recs and after school programs and mentorship. Prime example: the school board asked fraternities and sororities, and this is another thing we could talk about. I forgot to mention. Fraternities, sororities asked them to come to the table to see how we can help to do this. And that project sat for 2 years and then was never addressed. And then it's like when you're dealing with, me and Jen are social workers. Right. So when you're dealing with a city with 4,500 youth in foster care who are products of drug families and child abuse and trauma and all of these different things, there are some people out here that just really don't care.
I get that.
And it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I mean, we all saying the same thing. It's a lot of problems, but my whole thing is these are not new problems. We went from having a mayor, right, in O'Malley, in the thick of things. That I'm just gonna say it.
There we go.
We had a mayor in O'Malley who dealt with these things in the city. Got elevated to governor. I could count on my hand to me how many times he came here to address these things.
Okay.
In my opinion, I could be dead wrong. Maybe 10.
He's guessing right now.
Maybe 10. I'm guessing.
He just pulled that number out of thin air.
In 8 years. I mean, and then you think about it. I mean, you're the governor. You're a Democratic governor. You're coming from being the mayor of Baltimore City. No state raises. No state raises.
No.
The city isn't the city. When you're talking about the city, the public school budget, the state is taking over it. We still wind up with a deficit. What's going on?
There's a lot going on. That's the problem.
It is very systemic, and like you said with Harlem and other places in New York, a lot of things. Like if you go to the African American Museum and you go to that photo gallery, they'll show you that block in the South Bronx, right, and how it used to be a tenement house. Right. Then it got turned to rubble, and then now it's all housing. This is the plan by design. You have to be cynical enough to say some part of this is the plan.
And if you want to really, put forth some change, you have to start with the youth. You have to invest in our youth because they're going to be the ones who are going to be the adults soon, carrying on society. So if you're not investing in the youth and you feel like, the city of Baltimore doesn't care about us, school system don't care about us. Yeah. So, you don't have these kids who are willing to make the community better.
So, yeah, listen, I agree. I think we all identify the problems. Right?
Absolutely.
But I think that one of the issues is that we in large part, expect too much from government.
True.
Democrats do.
And we constantly are like, well, they need to be doing this, they need to be doing that. And to me, listen, I grew up in Jamaica. When we grew up, you grew up in Jamaica, it's like you almost don't ever expect the government to really do anything for you, right? If there's potholes in the street, I mean, I remember we would just get concrete, mix it, have a field day, and we would fix the potholes in the street.
Be a part of the solution, yeah.
We would just do it. Like, we didn't expect the government was going to do it for us, and so we did it. And so, in some respects, I accept that there are issues that are coming from the politicians, but in some respects, since my time that I've been here, I also think there's been a part of the blame falls on our community.
Absolutely.
And I agree.
And to me, I used to sit on the board of Baltimore. One of the stats that was the most troubling to me when I was on the board was, at that time, it was like the average person that stays in Baltimore City has an average income of like $25,000. The average person that leaves Baltimore City has an average income of $75,000.
That sounds about right.
You think about that, that's a $50,000 drain of capital, intellectual capital that's leaving the city.
Yep.
And so the way I think about it even further is that if I'm a kid and I'm living, the people who I'm seeing, who I'm living next door to, who I'm living with every day, who I'm, they're making on average $25,000. That means someone making a little bit more, someone making some less. Probably making $25,000 less is not living like a very thriving life, right? They're struggling, right? And so if I'm them and I see who do I see that looks like they're living a good life? It's the guys on the corner, right? Until we have more people who are willing to kind of stay in these communities and invest in these communities, we can continue to see the same things that have continued to happen in Baltimore, where we've seen, white flighted and black flighted, the drain of capital coming out of the cities.
So I have a question. I recently went on vacation in Jamaica.
Nice.
Beautiful island. I can't wait to go back. However, in visiting Jamaica,
rough too.
I have a few family. I have a few family members that are Jamaican as well, and they would tell me about the country, the beauty. They also talked about how impoverished Jamaica is, and it's one thing to hear it; it's another thing to actually see it.
Yeah.
So, do you think that coming from America and us feeling like we have this impoverished neighborhoods, because I know when I look at the hood here or the quote unquote ghetto or low income here, it looks like mansions compared to what's in Jamaica. I don't even think we realize what poor is here until you go to these other countries and see how they live. And one of the things that I noticed was these people were still so happy. With so little. So do you think that, just those cultural foundations that you have, in regards to community and family are more present in places like Jamaica where you don't have as much, of these issues as we do here?
It's funny. I think I've actually thought about this issue or this question before in terms of, I think it's a little bit different, right? I think poverty here looks different than poverty in Jamaica.
Okay.
In terms of you're right. It might look worse in Jamaica, but at the end of the day, to me, it's like in Jamaica, if you are hungry, you can go and pick a mango
off a tree. You sure can.
You can go and you can have a plot of land. You can plot your little something, and you can make yourself eat, and you'll be all right. Versus here, it's like, what are you going to do? So it's a different type of poverty here.
You just really turned your accent on and off. That's amazing to me. Did you hear that?
Yeah. But it is a cultural mindset, and it is by design too, because you got to think about it. The highway to nowhere, right? Displaced over 900 families in the city. Right. Mm-hmm. That was a thriving community where people garden, they grow. This whole thing about community gardens that's being introduced by a lot of white residents. Mm-hmm. That was something that was a staple to this community, this city. And the reality is, man, it's a generational lost art of fending for yourself. Even growing up in New York, I always tell people here, people that I knew that hustled, that I grew up with, they were constantly moving. They were doing something.
Mhm.
I don't even understand how people get money here by standing in the same place.
We have come to this mentality where we think we're owed something. Like somebody is supposed to take care of us. Somebody's supposed to do this
You're
for me.
right.
So
You're
they
right.
don't get up and get out and
So-
get it on their own.
You're
But
right.
I also think that's a difference. I mean, one of the things in Baltimore I think is particularly striking to me, and I think actually contributes to this, is the fact that there is such stark poverty right beside such stark wealth.
The imaginary
that's everywhere,
borders
though.
in Baltimore
No,
is amazing.
I don't
to
think
me.
it is. I don't think
That's-
it is everywhere.
That's everywhere.
I think that there are other places I've grown where I've lived.
Kew
Let me
Gardens.
finish, please.
I'm just saying.
Because from here, the difference is that like there'll be neighborhoods that
Mhm.
are poor. I feel like in Baltimore, it's like this block is nice,
Right.
this block is terrible. This
Right.
block is nice, this block is terrible. And to
Yeah.
me, that's different from a mentality perspective because you're like, man, you're seeing the wealth every day.
Right.
As opposed to y'all are all together struggling and you work together to try to get yourselves to not struggle anymore, right? And so I think that does go to the idea what happens with people like, oh, I'm owed something. I'm not making excuses. I definitely don't think that mentality is okay.
That's not Baltimore. That's a generational thing where
No.
it's a generational thing. We're all 30 plus. So we all have the idea and the mindset to say, we know what it is generationally. But you talk to a kid now and you're like, what's your goals and what's your dreams? They can't tell you. They haven't thought that far because a lot of cats don't even see it.
But that's again, that goes back to my earlier point. That's partially our demographics problem. If these younger kids can't see anything better, it's because of the fact that we abandoned our communities.
everything that the younger generation does is essentially our problem. Just as we were the generations before them, before us, their problem.
Right.
Everything it's each one teach one. I'm not saying that
But I do find it
exclusive from that.
In like Baltimore, I find it interesting because there's definitely, at least in the black community, in the black professional community, I always kind of hear these rumblings of like, there's particularly in our age group, in our demographic, saying that, some of the older cats never reached back to kind of pull us up as they were going to like transition out.
Yeah.
Well, the question then becomes, what the heck are we doing, right? Because
Right.
we certainly are not doing a very good job of reaching back to the cats that are out here are struggling.
But see, I think that
So we're doing the same thing.
that's definitely one of the issues. We have a lack of leadership. You
That
don't
you
have
can
that
trust.
older person that was there to kind of guide you along your way through those difficult points in life and give you some type of guidance. But the thing is, you have older adults who are terrified to talk to the youth because they feel like they have completely lost their minds. They have no respect at all for their elders, so they don't even know how to talk to them. They don't even know how to approach them to even try to give them guidance without thinking they're going to be met with some type of violence.
That is very
So
true.
that's a big issue. I mean, to be honest, it's like I want to help, but if I go out and get in my car and just talk to some young guys on the street, they might beat me up and rob me.
And
I think that's a big barrier as to why people aren't reaching back.
But how long? But again, I think that didn't happen overnight.
No,
I feel like
it
the
didn't.
way that
It
happened
didn't.
was because we were neglecting our obligations to talk to the youth from earlier when it started when it started turning. If we had started talking to them at that point, some of these issues wouldn't happen. Like, it's funny because I had this exact same conversation. I realized on my block where I live, I saw this dude who was clearly, I think there's a new type of like way that they're distributing drugs now. It's like almost Uber for drugs. They actually drive their car.
Oh, they are Uber and drugs.
Right? And so I saw it happening once, and it was very clear what was happening. So I went and talked to him. I knocked him in. I was like, yo, don't do that on this block anymore. And some people were like, why would you do that? Don't do that. You're putting yourself in danger. And I'm not trying to be a hero, but I'm like, if you don't stop it now,
Right.
it's going to get worse.
That's true.
You got to stop it when it's starting to sprout, or else it's just going to get worse. And I think that's what happened with the kids. We didn't say anything to them, and they kept, you give someone an inch, they'll take an L. Right, you keep giving them little passes. They keep being more and more disrespectful. You keep letting them go until now we're at the point where we're afraid.
That's because we don't whoop our kids' asses anymore.
So I was,
That's how
interestingly
kids' ass.
enough, I was watching a documentary that came on ESPN, Baltimore Boys,
Nice.
talking about the
one of
Paul
our
Laurence
sorors actually
Dunbar
worked on that.
basketball
went to
team of the
Dunbar, so
early
that's
'80s. Yes,
it's a big
Poet
thing.
Pride.
Nice.
Hello, Poet. How y'all doing? So, but one of the things they mentioned in the documentary was how Baltimore never bounced back after the riots, after the
Which ones, the ones in the 60s?
assassination. Yes.
Oh,
And even in like talking to my grandmother and, you know, her telling me about how the riots went and what she remembered, it's like once that destruction was done, nothing was ever put really back into the community to rebuild. And it was kind of like a snowball effect
that's
from
evident.
that point.
That's evident. I would definitely agree.
So I
Yeah,
think
but-
that, you know, like you say, you can't rely on government to
Newark-
see the value in your community.
The same
You
thing
have to
happened with
start.
Newark, New Jersey. When they had the riots, the same
Facts.
thing. The
But
money
Newark-
was not put back into the cities, and folks were just looking at us like we crazy. The only reason why like in New York, the only real place that really rioted in such a manner was maybe the South Bronx, and the South Bronx to this day is one of the poorest
It is.
congressional districts in the country. So I mean, to that point, your grandmother's exactly right. You know that happened. L.A. You know, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing.
Well, I know that one of the things we wanted to discuss tonight was fraternities and sororities, and talk about these Greek letter
It
organizations.
seems like you got an agenda there. Go ahead.
Oh, I be like this. I know y'all.
Who I
bringing me on the show
honestly
to
want to,
set-
you
to
know,
set me up.
commend, you know, the fraternities and sororities for, you know, the things that they do in the community and giving back. And I think that they're kind of being like a lost gem to the Black community. I don't, and I could be wrong. This is just my personal point of view.
Sound like it's about
That
to get
I don't
foul.
see they're not as vocal or as out there and present as they used to be. So you know, when you go back into like high schools and talk to like high school kids who are clearly, you know, at an age where they're preparing for college, and you slide it in there, well, are you thinking about, you know, being a part of any sorority or fraternity? And they're like, no. But I remember a time where that was aspired to. That was something that you wanted to do. You might have wanted to be in the fraternity or sorority more than you wanted to actually attend college. So,
Very
can
interesting.
you guys speak to that a little bit for the viewers, please?
Well, I can politically start off and say, you know, it's a lot of moving parts with it. In my opinion, unfortunately, you got to look at these institutions of higher education.
Okay.
That's a major starting point. Being someone who's worked with college students currently, who's been in college atmospheres, and I can only speak about what happens to what I've known, but there is a trend. These organizations have become major corporations in part, and a lot of things are going to protecting the name, and a lot of concerns stem around hazing and getting in trouble. And then when we're talking about cultivating leaders, we really lack that. You know, when I was in school, we pushed back against everything. We bucked the system on everything. You know, we had good people in administration that welcomed the challenge. They even kind of told us on the back doorway, this is how you fight this. This is how you do that. And we promoted leadership and we cared about one another. A lot of it too could be generational, man, because a lot of these cats don't even really understand what they're supposed to be doing. Like Venra alluded to, you know, the generation before them isn't really setting or blazing the trail. And yeah, it's a lot of different moving parts. So, and it definitely starts on the college campus, because where I was going to school, you couldn't be in one of those organizations without going to the local high school at least once or twice a year. That's a requirement.
That's that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have a less politically correct answer.
Those are the best ones.
So
I just started it off.
So EJ and I are both alphas, baddest friend alive in the world.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I have to say that, I mean, and I'm not just talking. I similar to you, I just think that Greek letter organizations were absent in Baltimore, particularly in a city which has such a high demographic of African Americans and has so many systemic issues. I think that we should be the ones I don't think anything can happen in the city without contacting Black Greek letter organizations. Because if we're running around saying that we are the leaders and we are, the chosen, we've gone through a process that has identified us as people who are leaders, then we need to step up and lead. And quite frankly, I think all too often, I don't know if it's generational or not, but I think we have fallen into the same trend of society where we just kind of find excuses to justify inaction. And we do the easy things, right? We will go and paint a school, or we will go and do, some service project that, again, is kind of like, yeah, we did that. We did our service
just
project.
To say we did
but
something.
Necessarily, we're not doing things that are going to transform the city. And I just don't see any Greek letter organizations doing, and I'm including my frat in that are doing things that are going to actually move the ball forward and try to establish and better a situation for Black people in this country or in this city particularly. So I know I'm going to get some pushback from that. I know that there's some guests are gonna,
sure.
But I can fight, so I'm not worried about it.
It's definitely true, but it's not the organization at the core of what it should be. It's what it's presented to be, and I mean you can only take it for face value for what it is right now. But like I always tell people, at the core of what it should be is something different. And it's like you have your little pockets of groups and sects that try to do what they're supposed to do, but largely it's like, when you have certain organizations telling their members, don't wear your letters in protest. You know what I mean? It goes back to that whole thing I was talking about with the CBC. All of these smart people get together to talk to other smart people, but nobody's out hitting the streets. Right. It's all into that. And I think largely these organizations disenfranchise their college youth. And that's where it starts. Because what I learned very early in college, your best advocates and your best political game changers, and this is why Michelle Obama came to Delaware State University and got my vote when I didn't even know who the hell or what Obama was. This is why Obama went to the schools, because your college student is the most untouchable person in the world. I'll tell you why. They're in school to get an education. 9 times out of 10, they don't have no record. They don't have no issues. They're going to get a job. They don't have to worry about debt right now. Most of the traditional students don't have to worry about debt. They don't have to pay bills. They don't have to worry about mouths to feed. They can do and say what the fuck they want to do, and nobody's going to be pissed at them.
That's a very good point.
So hence why when you look at the sit-in counters, when you look at SNCC, when you look at Mayor Barry and MLK when they were at Boston College together, these motherfuckers were college students. They lived fearlessly, and they didn't have to answer to anybody. But then when higher education turned to be more of a business focus, which has always been, but when you disenfranchise these students to the point where they can't have a party on campus because administration said so, that's the biggest amount of fuckery I've ever heard. Like I literally would verbally smack any administrator in school that told me some bullshit like that. But you're producing a generation of mindless motherfuckers that don't want to do nothing. Then when you have in these organizations the older guard that politically controls the organization, that really has no desire to go out there in the street. Why? Because they make 6 figures. They're good. Their family's good.
Right.
And as long as they're controlling the controlling stake of what these young people are doing, they don't care. And what are our young people really focused on?
Social media,
a lot of shit. Which if we were in school and social media was this big, who knows what we would have been on?
My goodness, I said that to a friend the other day. I am so happy. I went through high school and there was no Facebook, there was no IG. I don't know, and no camera phones.
Yeah, no Facebook Live.
I have no idea what my high school experience would have been like had we had this technology. Like,
disgusting. Oh
my God.
I would have had a lot of footage.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I mean, even I remember being in school literally on a Friday, going to DC for our district Maryland DC conference, partying in DC, driving back somehow, and then changing my clothes, getting on the bus that I organized to the Jenna 6 rally. Right. The Jenna 6 rally around the Department of Justice. I'm half drunk, but I'm marching. You know what I mean?
I'm here.
I'm there. You know what I'm saying? But it's like now you can't even get kids to motivate themselves to stick up for themselves to fight what's going on campus. How do we expect them to come in these organizations, culturally change what they are, and then make a difference?
Right.
These organizations, and I'm sorry to say, they disenfranchise the youth. They're only worried about numbers, and their primary focus really is the community.
Yeah.
So we have some, I'm sure we have some listeners out there, some viewers out there that want to call in with some commentary. If you do, please call in 404-436-1277. And you can talk with us and give us your perspective on the issues that we're discussing.
But if we gonna get into some shit, let's get into some shit.
Oh Lord.
DK's back in his seat. Oh God. Colin Kaepernick.
First of all, leave my mans alone, okay? I'm tired of y'all coming for Colin Kaepernick.
We're not coming for Colin Kaepernick.
I'm not saying y'all. I'm talking to the public. I'm looking in.
Oh, she for you.
What does the number matter? What does the
Come
number
on,
matter?
Jen. Come on, Jen. You gotta know this.
What does the number matter?
Come on, Jen.
No, I don't know. I don't know by heart. I do not know by heart. I know it by heart.
Oh my God.
I do know his number by heart.
However,
really?
That's so
That's
disrespectful.
low. That's real low.
That's so disrespectful.
Yo.
You did not only did you go.
No, that's baseball. Thank you very much.
That's so disrespectful.
Hold on, when did this become the Diamond Can't Come for Jennifer show?
The worst part about the level of disrespect was that he said, "How many quarters are there?" That is so disrespectful on so many different levels. I didn't even understand what you did to that man. You must have wronged him. You must have.
I wasn't even referring to coming for him in the football realm. I'm just talking about him as an activist. I was speaking to that end of it. But you know what, Diamond K, we gonna talk later. Anyway, like I was saying, stop coming for him, okay? Any man who is peacefully trying to create change where he sees there clearly is a problem, why is that such a threat? He don't got no gun. He ain't standing in nobody's house trying to, sway your children to go do drugs, pop mollies or nothing. This man is talking about doing this peaceful protest where he sees there are issues that need to be recognized, acknowledged, at the very least.
And we've gotten away from that. I think, with everything that's talked about, we got away from the actual point of what he was doing. Right. Because police brutality
bringing awareness
hasn't even been talked about in all of this. The boycott of the NFL.
Okay. So look, we had this discussion before the camera started rolling. Okay. Yeah. To boycott or not to boycott the NFL? Is it going to make a difference? No. Is it going to drive the point home that we're trying to make?
It ain't going to make a difference.
In how they're blackballing
that boy getting the mic.
Colin Kaepernick.
The issue with the reason why it's not going to have an issue is why it's not going to have the impact is exactly because there are too many people that are saying it's not going to have an impact, so I'm not doing it. Right? At the end of the day, and I actually have had this argument with my frat brothers and just friends. At the end of the day, I don't really care if it actually ends up like. To me, it's significant enough that this man is fighting for issues that we should care about, that we should be backing him and backing his cause just because. Right? It doesn't even matter because to me, if there are enough of us that care about this issue, if we are saying that we're really trying to effectuate change, if we're not willing to sacrifice watching football on Sundays, then what do we? Why would any other athlete ever try to stand up for us or to fight for these issues?
The thing is, if we don't do it in unison, if we don't come together as a collective to do it together, and not just have it be three people standing up there alone by themselves, it won't. enact any kind of change. I think like with,
Right.
with Obama and him running his first campaign, people came out in droves.
Right.
People who never paid attention to politics were out. They were voting. They were coming out to hear him speak at debates. I mean, they were out. That's why it had such a great impact. But if you don't have, sad to say, if you're not buying into it.
So yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that this is something that we should all be getting behind, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, to be frank, like to me, it's interesting to just kind of think about the different relationships that we have with athletes in terms of their role, in terms of activism, right? In some respects, we're always kind of complaining about the fact that they're not using their platform to do what they're supposed to do. But when they do it, like, let's remember some of the most significant, impactful kind of moments that we remember in history are Black athletes who have taken a stand on issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You think about, the guys at the Olympics that raise their fists.
Carlos.
Right, but you can wear the T-shirt though.
Like that, right?
You got the T-shirt on.
We're all
now.
about that because we can say, "Oh, we did it," but so we go and we say they should be using their platform to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But when they do use a platform to do something, we're not willing to stand behind them, which then puts their livelihood at jeopardy.
Because I remember LeBron James getting dragged.
Right.
Dragged.
It's funny. I remember there was an article about. So it was an article about the guy. I'm not sure if you guys, but it's a guy that's often forgotten. The guy that came, I think
Australian
he came second,
guy?
the Australian guy.
Yeah.
There's an Australian because he came second, the white guy, and he stood with them as they were he stood with them for the cause and was about it, and it talked about how his life basically got ruined as a result of doing that, right? And so if somebody like that is going to put his livelihood at jeopardy, we can't not watch football for a Sunday, right? We talk I don't understand. To me, the fact of the matter is that this Colin Kaepernick was kneeling because he disagreed with certain things. He was going against the police brutality that was very evident in that media. And for me, it's just it's such an easy thing to do. I don't know why you.
Let me introduce this point too. Which is nothing that.
You're over here scribbling. I can't really tell you. Just notes.
Let me introduce this. Let me introduce this point too before I pass it over to BK. But what's going on in the NFL is nothing new, and I've said this on a number of shows.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Kaepernick is getting blackballed primarily because of his stance, but I feel like we should have had an issue with the NFL.
You're absolutely right.
For decades and decades, and it's historically proven, the black quarterback was a taboo, the black man playing center was a taboo, and the black man playing linebacker was a taboo because we were all not cognitively good to do that. And so you're talking about an organization and an infrastructure, along with the NBA, along with the MLB, that has been racist. It has been this way. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that we should more or less do anything else, but it's what it's been. And the fact that we're just now getting a notification of this, it's a little too late. I'm not gonna say it's too late to do anything, but this is nothing new.
We have a team playing our Ravens right now called the Redskins.
The Redskins.
The Redskins.
I mean, it's literally. I mean, we with everything with the Dakota pipeline, with the number of actions that were put against this patent, and motherfuckers still watch it. They still support it.
Yep. True.
So, yeah, I hear you, but
I feel like
there's a difference
Diamond
between this and some of the other issues that we've had.
It's a lot of intersection in it.
Right.
But a lot of intersection.
To me, it's like a direct target, or this guy is specifically protesting this issue that specifically addresses this community, which is the community that in large part populates the teams that are in the NFL. Right. And whereas a lot of these NFL players might not fear being shot by the police because they're NFL players. Or
oh no, they do. They do.
They
To speculate that they don't is
but to assume
outlandish.
that they do is also.
I'm gonna give you a point of fact. I'm gonna tell you, somebody I work for, his nephew plays for a team in the NBA in Denver, and every time he leaves his home, every time he drives from his estate, he's stopped by the police.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
5 seconds from his home.
No,
I mean, every time, to the point where a letter had to be written to the local police department.
I'm not disputing that people have these issues, but to me, the bigger point is that Colin Kaepernick was someone that took a specific stance for issues that are directly impacting the people who are the highest in the league.
No question.
And the fact that we know that this guy's a better quarterback than plenty of the players.
And the thing that kind of is mind-boggling to me, you have NFL players who have done so much worse than what this man is doing in peaceful protest, and they still have jobs. They are still on the payroll.
Right.
They're still starting in games.
Right.
So
there are plenty of wife beaters in the NFL.
Number one, it really speaks. Well, man,
plenty.
That's a whole show in itself. But it speaks to him trying to drive home this message and how you can be ousted just trying to be the messenger.
Right.
DK, what you got over there?
He's like a little kid, like ooh.
He's ready.
He is
ready. It's about to get lit.
Wait, wait! I can see he over there. He over there ready.
Can we get a camera on the thesis statement?
I have a list. Yes.
Boy,
so much. It's so much, and I respect everything that y'all are saying. However, y'all are missing the point by a mile.
What's the point?
But here's the thing.
We made several points.
Frequently, most of the time, we miss the point. And we
the irony in that is that you're about to explain to us how we're missing the point by
yes. No.
What's about to happen is that you're about to explain to us how we're missing the point by completely missing the point.
Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're doing. I'm gonna go back to the civil rights movement because y'all talked about that. The civil rights movement of the '60s, and we are very as people. We're very symbolic. We focus on symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
Symbolism over substance. We get behind quote unquote movements. Everybody's walking down the street. We gotta walk down the street.
And you've said this before,
we gotta stand in support.
I agree.
And I feel that the civil rights movement of the generation before us, there is a certain point where the next steps have to be taken. But the next steps was never taken because all they did was literally take the next steps, walking. That's it. Everything stopped there collectively because it was symbolic. You get a sign, you walk down the street, you pick it. What else? Because the issues don't get addressed because we focus on symbolisms and logos and movements and attaching yourself to something. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Now, as far as raising awareness for police brutality, which is an actual thing. If people didn't know, if there's anybody in this country that did not know about police brutality before Colin Kaepernick took a knee, now they know, right? Okay, everybody already knew. Okay,
maybe.
No,
so everybody already knew.
I'm sorry.
Now bring it to the forefront.
That's not correct.
Everybody didn't know.
That's not correct.
I'm
telling you.
That's BS.
I'm telling you very clearly.
It's impossible.
No, it's not impossible.
You have people who live in bubbles.
So let me be clear. I'm sorry.
See it on TV.
Let me be clear. So I went to high school. I went to boarding school, predominantly white people. Went to PWIs for both law school and undergrad.
Did this happen since this protest?
And so I have plenty of white friends, and I'm telling you as a fact that this was shocking to many of them.
No.
I'm telling you.
Once again, let's go. I disagree.
He said
that's
impossible.
It's impossible.
He's saying that Kaepernick now raising awareness that they need to know.
That's not what he said.
That is what I said.
He did
That's
say that.
impossible.
Are you saying that prior to Kaepernick that they did not know?
No, he's saying
I'm
that
saying-
with Kaepernick he should have known.
He already said it. I said it.
He
But I'll
already
say
said
it
it.
again. I'll
So-
say it again. What I'm trying to say is this. She said support Kaepernick, right? So Kaepernick took a knee in protest of the
Police
killings
brutality.
at the hands of the police.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, that was not a news flash. We knew about the killings at the hands of policemen prior to him doing that.
Right.
He was doing that as a way to, do his part to raise awareness about it and to bring it to the conversation. But we knew that issue was out there already.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying? I'm sorry.
Let it finish.
No, because I want clarification.
Sure.
Are you saying that they knew about it before?
No.
Let me finish the question.
No.
There was Colin Kaepernick protested because there was a recent rash of police officers killing black people in particular.
Correct.
And that was publicized.
Yes.
Are you saying that people knew about the killing of black men and police brutality because of the trend from Trayvon Martin to Colin Kaepernick's protest? Are you saying that even prior to Trayvon Martin and some?
I didn't mention Trayvon Martin at all, but in general, I'm saying just what you're saying. Yeah. There was a rash of public police killings.
Okay,
is what I'm saying.
But you don't
Colin
think that
Kaepernick's kneeling did not bring that to people's attention. It was that was already out there in the news,
but only as a result of that period, not necessarily the time before that. Do you think that people knew prior to the killings that there was police brutality?
It wasn't in the mainstream like that.
Okay.
Prior to that, I would say this last 4 years or so, but it's always been there.
Yeah,
since the creation.
Police brutality has always been there. I don't think that knowledge and recognition.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's. Prior to Kaepernick, we've had a stretch of maybe about 4 or 5 years where it's really gotten to the point where people are almost numb by it because it's happening so much. That's what I'm saying. So we agree on that.
I don't even agree with that, honestly.
Okay.
You know why? Because
you don't agree that it happened?
Well, no, I don't. I don't think that people get. I don't think people get numb to it. I think your view is that people are aware of the fact that there are police killing black men and that's wrong.
No, I didn't say any of that.
But
I think it depends on who you're talking to. Because we're using a general word of people. So people know about it. Now, depending on
but
their
you said
personal,
they're numb to it, which by definition.
But wait, you gotta listen. He's saying you have to what you're agreeing to the fact and semantic. He's saying you gotta define people. His definition of people might resonate differently to you. He's saying you got to look at who the people is he's talking about.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say people that are people maybe in the urban communities everybody knows. White people know, especially in the last couple of years. Black people know, or urban residents know. Now, how they feel as far as why it happened may be different. Absolutely. Because some people on the side of these niggas was resisting or they was doing something wrong and that's why it happened and the police protecting themselves. Mm-hmm. Some people are of that mindset. Some people are of the mindset that the police are gang and are targeting black males. Mm-hmm. Some people are of that mindset. However, the fact of even on the most conservative, they agree that it has happened, but why it's happened is where the divide is. You can't dispute Trayvon Martin dead, numerous brothers dead. Why they were killed is where the disconnect is. So it's not that it wasn't out there that their deaths happened. It's clear that it happened, and people, some conservative media, racist types or Uber police supporters, the FOP, like those type of people have a different view as to why it happened. Mm-hmm. But that's not even my issue. My issue is that how do we stop police brutality? And boycotting the NFL, if we get the owners of the Ravens, if we put pressure on them and make them hire Kaepernick, police brutality is not going to stop. We didn't win, but the way black people work or urban residents work, we won something. We got them to bow down. Getting the NFL, an entertainment organization, to bow down is not going to solve the problem. We got to get the courts, the government, we got to get those niggas to bow down, right? Making our focus on entertainment because of symbolism and support Kaepernick and blah, blah, blah. He did his part. He voiced his opinion, and I'm sure that he's going to continue to do a lot of activism. But the real issue is going back to marching down the street, and that changes nothing. You mentioned about Barack Obama, and yes, he needed people to vote. That's what he needed to happen.
He's about to say something for hours.
If everybody made a song about him, okay, but didn't go out and vote, that wouldn't have did anything. You understand what I'm saying? So the issue was we need people to vote, and that's going to get him elected. Boom. Okay, cool. In order to stop police brutality, we have to change the laws, the way the police operate. It's not in the NFL. Changing the NFL, breaking the backs of the NFL, all that. And yes, they have funny ass rules and tendencies and this double standards and this racist and all that. But that's not going to stop police brutality. Kaepernick with a job, police brutality still going to exist. Kaepernick without a job, police brutality still going to exist.
Let me say this. I understand what you're saying. However,
boycott's not necessary.
Okay. But my point is this. When you have an organization like the NFL, let's take, for example, quarterback for North Carolina. What's his name?
Cam Newton?
Yes. Cam Newton did a touchdown or made a play or something, and he dabbed. You had white kids who never knew nothing about dabbing are now dabbing.
Okay.
They don't even know where it came from. They don't even know what it means or nothing, but because Cam Newton did it and it looks cool, I want to do it as well. So if you want to reach a larger audience, no. Kaepernick, taking a stand and doing what he doing, it is not going to stop police brutality. However, it can start opening up conversations. It will start making people, say, okay, if this NFL player is saying that, maybe I need to pay a little bit more attention to it. Just like with the election with Obama, how you had
to it. You mean like when it comes to TV? Look, what is the real?
Because like you say, it can be oversaturated. It happens, a lot all the time. However, like unfortunately, when we have a prominent figure that kind of hones in on a movement or whatever's going on that they feel is important, people start to pay attention. That does happen. With Barack Obama, when he was running for office, and he got Diddy to come join in with the vote or die thing, like it started hitting the young people.
Diddy who disses him now.
But here's the thing: we as
wasn't
a people,
effective at the time. Though.
Hold on, we as a people are so fickle.
Yeah, we are.
And that's one of the problems. Again, and to DK's point, I agree. I think with so much of the chatter of Kaepernick not having a job, which I think is wrong, primarily as a Jets fan, New York Jets, y'all
they
trash.
Use him.
We need Colin Kaepernick. We are some trash. But my point is the argument at this point more of him not getting a job, or should we be rallying behind the cause of what he originally set out to do?
The cause that he originally set out to do.
And that has not changed, or it has not made any strides. And the other thing that I will say is boycotting the NFL, in theory, I get it. But you also have to understand the NFL and what it is and what it works is bigger than just not watching games. And then you have to answer the question, well, if you boycott games and brothers on these teams lose their jobs, are we going to start to support them financially? But here's the other thing. When you look at, now what I will say, if you want to boycott anything, and I've even said this to people, if you want to boycott the NFL, you might as well boycott America. You might as well boycott everything that we do.
What does boycotting the NFL do?
Can I speak?
No, yeah, you've been stewing. You've been stewing. Go ahead.
This is the most ridiculous. I think the way it is. So I think you're completely missing the point. Right? So
go ahead.
A couple of things. So let me start off by saying I don't think that we should minimize what was done in the civil rights movement. I think that this concept that we think the people who were fighting civil rights movement were just marching and trying to show. All right, go ahead. This concept that they were just marching and.
What was the next step?
Allow me to finish. What they did during the civil rights movement was very strategic, because the way that it worked was that they needed to show the brutality that was with which they were faced for their peaceful protest. And only from getting that on television were they able to bring it to the masses so that they could get the sympathies of white supporters. Sure. And so white supporters. So they absolutely
no. Keep going. What happened after that?
Allow me to finish. I'm going to get there. That was necessary for what the circumstances were at that point. I actually agree with you on the point that we all too often are doing things for symbolic reasons.
Yes, I was going to say, I know you feel that way.
I do believe, however, that there is the natural progression now is you hear the term, we're moving from the civil rights to silver rights, right? And what that means is that dollar. You're moving, you're making your dollars speak for you, and you put your money behind the things that you agree with and keep your money away from things that you disagree with, right?
Okay.
For you, the question of Colin Kaepernick is a couple of things why I think that what Colin Kaepernick is doing is significant, right? The first point of which is that I think that we need to empower athletes who have a platform to bring the issues that we care about to the forefront without the risk of being blackballed and therefore losing their livelihood. And if we don't back him now, this won't happen again. And let's be clear, there have been athletes that did this in the past. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell,
Jim Brown,
guys that have fought for our
Muhammad Ali,
and Muhammad Ali.
Correct.
These are people that the messed up part about it is that some of the same people that are talking badly about Kaepernick and how they're not going to support him now, 20, 30 years from now, they're talking about how they were down for him.
How he was all that. Yeah.
He was the man.
Same thing with Martin Luther King.
Same thing they did with Martin Luther King. Same thing they do with Muhammad Ali, right? So that's a first issue. The first issue is that we need to empower our athletes who have a platform to be able to talk about our issues, and that's what this does. The second part of it is going directly to the movement to the civil rights. You ask what to the civil rights. You ask what this does. The reason why it's important for us to boycott is not necessarily because it's going to end police brutality. What it might potentially do, though, however, is you're directly saying, I am not going to support things that are going against my interest. And that's what you're doing. If you're knowing that a black player can get blackballed, lose his livelihood because of the fact that he stood up for your rights and things that are going to directly impact you, and you're not willing to sacrifice watching an NFL game or whatever, you take your money away. And if we were able to do it in mass, which we probably won't end up doing because people are saying, oh, I'm not doing it because it's not really it doesn't for point. But if we were to do it in mass, the number of black people that watch the NFL on the weekends that are involved in fantasy football who are buying merchandise, it potentially could impact the bottom line of these companies, of these teams. And then the result would be that they would allow players to speak up for us as they have a platform. And to me, that's important.
Wow. But I have so many issues with several things that you said. I guess the point that the real point is, okay, that's fine. So then what if it happens in the NBA? We boycott that.
It happened in the NBA because if you remember when Sterling started saying stuff, the team said
everything changed.
No, it didn't change.
Here's my thing. Who cares? My issue with the civil rights, we got to go back to the civil rights movement.
Players to be able to speak up.
But see the core problem. You have to also understand the core problem between the leagues.
We never fixed the issue. The issue in the civil rights movement. Here's my issue, though. Let me address something that you said first before you go there. Remember your point.
All right.
We got to go back to the civil rights. You said they want to get sympathies of the people that was at Woodstock and that got it. Cool.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Wonderful. But the where we messed up at, it was a pivotal point. It was a fork in the road, and we took the wrong way because we went from because things were separate, we had our own stuff. Right, but because we got this mentality that white is better. I want to go to the white school. I want to go to why can't I have the white only pie? I want to go to the white restaurant and the white this and the white that. And there was the focus on our own stuff that lost because we want to be assimilated and accepted. And please be marching so y'all can please just be. What the fuck is that shit about? And then so their kids become the consumers of the white people. And then the white organizations pimp us out, right? Because we all want to support their stuff. Fuck their stuff. But we want to buy their stuff. And now we have kids. Now our generation has kids, and it's the same mentality. We had to, where the civil rights movement, and I've talked about this many times, the civil rights movement that our parents' era failed us is that it was no focus on building our stuff and having our stuff. And we don't have any stuff. We don't have any. We are consumers, and this is a consumer mentality, and we just perpetuating consumer mentality and not entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but to me, the problem with what you're saying right now is that, listen, I'm not even gonna get on the mic and disagree with you, right? It's not even necessary for me to go there, right? Because to me, what you're doing is you are creating reasons for lack of movement, right?
No, so like it just needs a directed movement. We need to. If we're trying to take a fort, let's take the fort.
We have to now accept whatever.
Let's not sing and dance.
Whatever the circumstance that we are, we accept the realities of what they are. If at this point you're not, if people are not willing to use their money and not buy, freaking NFL Spotlight or whatever the channel is that you're going to watch games on. If you're not willing to not NFL tickets, if you're not willing to not go buy a jersey, if you're not willing to just say, I'm going to sacrifice on Sunday and not watch these games in order to support a brother that's fighting for the rights that things that are important to you, how in the hell do you think
you said he's fighting for awareness? He's not fighting for the awareness. We are fucking aware. We know.
He's fighting for his right as a person to speak up on issues that are problematic.
Let me interject on both of you. Let me interject on both of you. First and foremost, the civil rights movement, I agree in both realms. The civil rights movement was done out of dire necessity, number one. Number two, you're right in a degree that they did not leave us a platform to build further, but you also have to interject the impact of systemically placed drugs and destruction to our communities.
It was amazing. They got plans. We don't have no plans. All of our stuff is just by the seat.
Not even if there was plans, because the current system in which the government calls WIC today was founded by the Black Panther Party. And then when you talk about the boycotts that were successful, to your point, and kind of to your point, everybody was get down or lay down, like you say, but there was a strategic point to it that we know that 70% of the people in Montgomery or Selma or wherever are using this bus system. If we shut it down, it has an impact.
Correct.
This goes to my larger point about the boycott. You can't ask these players to boycott their paycheck. When Skip Bayless says
NFL ticket.
No. I'm not getting to that. When Skip Bayless says if the players don't play game one, then they'll show a message. But at the same time, Skip Bayless, you're sitting back as a sports writer who, if they did that, you make more money. There are cats on the practice squad. There are cats on the second team, third team. They have no other way to feed their family. So I can't ask them to boycott that. Now, if we boycott the NFL, that might make an impact. But here's one thing that we need to look at.
It won't stop police brutality.
No. Wait a minute.
We're focused on dumb stuff. Let's focus on how to end that.
That's incorrect. We have historically movements have not worked by addressing that you don't do anything until you fix everything. That's not how it works.
No, but do something productive.
You address.
If y'all say we don't watch football, we do this instead. That makes sense. You don't supposed to sit around, but now we watch tennis or
that's not
we watch Power.
Let me give you guys both a solution.
What this does is it empowers people in high profiles to take up these issues and not have fear that they're going to.
Let me give you guys both a solution. You both are saying kind of the same things. I think so.
I think they're on complete polar opposite ends of the spectrum. Right now.
Listen, give me a minute. This is where you meet at the table. You both are not saying don't protest or boycott. What DK is saying is boycott in a way that it makes sense. And what you're saying is boycott because it produces other things. I think that you can find similarities in that. But what I'm saying is you just don't stop watching the NFL. Here's the thing. Hold up.
We have the same goal, but we just have different views of how to get there.
Here's the thing. Yes, that's who has ownership to the Pittsburgh Steelers? The Hines family.
Who cares?
No. See, here's the problem. No.
I'm just
Here's,
joking. I'm just joking.
here's the problem.
No, I'm just joking.
This is 95% of who should care. The Hines family. So if you really want to boycott some shit, the Pittsburgh Steelers and pick up Kaepernick.
Stop it.
So don't buy Heinz ketchup.
That's
Don't buy
okay.
ketchup.
Listen.
Wait,
So,
where am I? Wait. Here you haven't even finished.
This does
You
not
haven't even-
stop police brutality.
not-
This is not the point. This is we. You know what? It's
Nor does
this-
What is your point? So your point is to boycott the
macaroni and
NFL.
cheese
Wait.
from
You're
the,
not making any sense. You want to boycott the NFL, but you don't want to boycott the direct revenue stream that these owners get.
which is how they got.
That don't
the
make no
team.
fucking
That's how they
sense.
got the team.
Anytime I feel like
You didn't let me finish.
All right.
So you have
basically, we gotta
Robert
be
Kraft.
busted.
You have Robert Kraft. You
Kraft
have
macaroni and cheese.
the Heinz family. You
Heinz
have
ketchup.
the Panthers, who are heavily funded by Bank of America. Yo, you wanna hit these owners in the
Listen.
pocket.
Listen.
You go after their sponsors. That's why Bashadi said he wouldn't sign Kaepernick.
Listen.
What are we missing?
I don't disagree with you. I think that what y'all are
just
saying. I think what
stopping at revenue.
I think what y'all.
stopping at
I
revenue.
think what y'all are saying is great. And then the unicorns are gonna come and pick us up and bring us to the promised land.
So it ain't no
What
point
y'all
in
are talking?
boycotting.
No. What you're saying is your view is basically do go all the way or go no way.
Isn't
No,
that what you said?
your
No, I'm
view,
not going.
your
I'm saying
view
you
is
say-
completely
I'm saying-
symbolic
I'm-
and
it's not
changes
sym-
nothing.
It's not symbolic
Because you're not
Again,
hitting
you-
the
you
money
don't-
of the
you,
owners.
You don't think that you're trying to tell me that you don't think that if there was a significant decrease in viewership and so people weren't
that
gonna
would stop
necessarily-
police brutality? No, wouldn't
That's
make
not
a difference.
No, you're now you're conflating
We
points.
must
Your
stop
question
police
first. Your
brutality.
question
It's
first.
not
So-
Your
about
question
Kaepernick.
first was whether or not it's going to impact the owner's pockets.
So
And
wait a minute.
I'm asking,
Here's-
and I'm
but
saying to you,
here's-
do you think that if there was a significant
here's
decrease
the-
in the viewership, that
here's
was
the
not going
thing.
to impact their pockets?
Y'all kind of talking about two different things. Diamond K is talking about how can we stop police brutality, and that's not focused on the symbolism.
That's not-
You are speaking more so on the symbolism and
I don't want us to keep saying
athletes.
symbolism.
Well, I'm not going to say the
saying
symbolism, but
symbolism.
an athlete's right to make a peaceful protest and not be blackballed for doing so. So that's kind of two
Yeah, that's
different
his
things we're
point.
talking
That's his
about. Which are all good points. Like I think both
Yeah,
of you,
this-
I think
I
both of you
I
have
think that-
definitely
I
brought up
think
some good
athletes should
points.
be able to say what they want to say. However,
I think they are
Yeah.
intermingled.
So
I don't think
I mean,
They're intersection. There's
the
intersection. with it.
concept that what ends up coming about.
let me ask you this question: Should a
Let me
white
ask you
player,
this.
should a white player who supports Trump be able to speak about white nationalism in public?
I do. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but if it happened, what would your reaction be?
I probably wouldn't support that player. I'm going to put my money exactly on the things that I agree with. It would be the exact same response.
So if and I'm sure that there are white racist player, nationalists, conservative types who like Tom Brady did not support President Obama, and
We know
and that's
that.
fine.
Right.
I don't really care about their political views because I don't go to them for political stuff. I care about my politicians' political views. I don't care if our quarterback agrees with the same stuff I agree with because I don't go to him for that. I want him to play the game. That's it. Now, if his views align with mine, cool, but it doesn't affect, like, what we should care
I
about
disagree with
is
that.
our governor's
So,
views, political views.
So-
The person who messed up our bus system, we should care about their political views. It doesn't matter if this referee right here voted for President Obama and is down for the cause. Who cares?
I disagree. I disagree with that slightly, right? So I know that myself. Like I'm okay with people having different views than me politically or whatever. Right? I know people who I think I probably sway Democratic, but I have plenty of friends that are Republican that I continue to have as friends, and we can disagree. But there is
Because y'all got something else.
we can even talk about politics. We can actually disagree on politics and it'd be fun. But there's a level, right? So once somebody has got people who are like avid Trump supporters, I have a hard time being friends, right? Because to me, there is such a fundamental disconnect.
yeah,
in
morally,
your
you're probably on
appreciation
different.
for your
planes, right.
appreciation for me as a black person or as a minority within this country that I have a hard time interacting with you, right?
Okay.
And so to
But what if
me,
y'all work?
the similarities
What if
are
you work together, and he did his job good, right?
right.
And y'all got money together.
He would do his job, but I
right?
would not interact with him outside of work.
And that's fine.
Probably.
And I think that's fine. But I think they're racist players that we don't know their political views.
I know.
And what you're saying is they should be able to speak about those views. I think that it would distort everything.
I can't agree with that.
About that. I don't think
So
that
you don't
their
think so?
political views
I don't.
matter.
I don't think the argument is that we need to care about what they say. But what he's saying is you should be able. Now here's the question: do you think they should be able to say what they want and not face repercussion for it? Is the question. Right.
I don't believe that
Tom Brady.
I don't believe that you should be able to say what you want. See, I disagree with this premise. I think that because we're dealing in sponsorship, we're dealing in image, we're dealing in a lot of these things. What you feel personally, if you care about being successful, you shouldn't say.
But that's that negates freedom of speech.
If you're somebody who sells image.
So can I ask you a question? So let's just cut away.
Now, if you're a politician, it matters.
So let's cut away. So you don't think that so is it would this be a correct assessment based on what you just said that black players should shut the hell up and just play the game?
I don't feel that. I just feel that it's repercussions that come with it. So if you want to be labeled as an activist and you don't give a fuck,
you should jeopardize your career.
Yeah, because you got other options.
That should
but
jeopardize
if
your
you
career.
my thing is it's naturally going to be because we got to give you the opposite end of the spectrum. Now, a black nationalist, the opposite of him is a white nationalist. So for what you're saying, these white nationalists should be able to go out and do this. And then it turns to something political. Because we got black nationalists. And that's gonna if a white player comes up and says the opposite of what Kaepernick is saying.
Kaepernick is
now we confused.
Kaepernick is not a Garveyite.
It's not. But you playing on the specifics. He's not saying that he is. He's saying in the context of saying
his political views.
No, it's not. It's very different. A white nationalist. We know what white nationalism means. White nationalism believes. White nationalists believes are that.
I think you're focusing on.
He's focusing on my
term of his word.
So maybe
he's saying if a white guy just said whatever.
If there was a white guy,
white nationalist is not the opposite.
If there was a white guy.
He's being a literal lawyer.
Yes,
he is. I'm not being a literal lawyer. If there was a white player, if a white player came on and said, "The hell with all the wife beaters in the league."
No. If a white player, now I'm gonna give you the exact opposite of Kaepernick.
No.
If the white player said,
let's actually break this down. What Kaepernick did was Kaepernick is making a statement about wrongs that are being done in society.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And so if a white player came and said that they have an issue with wrongs that were being done in society, and it was about the specific wrong that they were talking about was women being abused, I completely think that they should be able to say that.
And they would be able to. NFL's done a lot of commercials about that. They would be able to say that.
Or even
they had to.
They would be able to say that.
Or even if they said the hell with all dog fighters, that would be okay.
They would be able to say that.
But you can't say I don't want to.
You can say it,
but you're going to face repercussions.
No, I don't think other two groups are not going to face repercussions. I don't think that it's what he said. I only think it's the way the method that he chose to say it. I think that they take the flag national anthem so serious that if he had just literally, if he had came out during every interview and said, if he came out in every interview and said, if I was advising him, here's what I would have done. I wouldn't have told him to kneel. I would have said, every time you have an interview, the only thing you say is, I'm not speaking until police brutality ends or something. If I voiced it,
you tell someone how to protest?
You can't. I'm just saying.
No,
you cannot. He's
just saying that he would have advised him.
I would have advised him differently
because
he would have said that every interview. They wouldn't have. All this wouldn't have happened.
It gets overshadowed. The whole point I think the DK is on, and I don't think you guys, in my opinion, have been off from each other by very much. The whole point
How
is.
Do you say that?
No, I am.
I don't know what conversation he's listening to.
Because I'm listening to y'all.
I don't know what.
Can I finish? Can I finish? This is the problem. You still talking and you're not listening.
We both agree that we are on fundamental different.
That's because y'all both.
That's our agreement.
That's because y'all both talking. That's because y'all both talking and y'all not listening. So here's the thing. What DK is saying is the method of which Kaepernick used. You could debate whether it was right, whether it was wrong, whether it was in his rights, whatever. But because the opposition, the dominant culture of this country, chose to take it such a way that it overshadowed the underlying point.
100%.
These motherfuckers went so hard to say, damn, he's boycotting the flag. He's boycotting. He's anti-American.
That's not.
He's anti-veterans. And the first people that came out was like, nah, this ain't right. The first motherfuckers came out was the veterans. Like, nah, this is why we fucking went and got shot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the method of what happened. Well, I don't necessarily agree that, and he's just saying hypothetically, if he was his PR person. Right. But to your point, it might not have mattered. But the whole thing is, we're still talking about Kaepernick getting a job when realistically, the underlying, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter or it's not intersected. The underlying point was police brutality. Unfortunately, the consequence of it is that Kaepernick does not have a job.
Let's be clear. All right, I think Jay-Z said. He said there's much bigger issues in the world I know. But I first had to take care of the world I know. A football player is not going to end police brutality. He can only take care of the things that he can take care of, the things that are in his control. And I don't expect him to do anything else. What you're saying to me is that we know that there is an issue with police brutality, and so we shouldn't do anything unless it's going to specifically address police brutality. You know who affects police brutality? So basically, what you're saying is that
not the Miami Dolphins.
I agree 100%.
I know that.
I agree 100%.
Not the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't expect the football players to end police brutality. I expect the governors and the mayors and the police chiefs to 100%. Address those issues.
So you believe that's going to come by boycotting?
No, I don't think that you sit by on the sidelines idly. I think that you do whatever you can within your power to bring about the results that you want.
I agree.
Because quite frankly, the same logic that you're putting for football players could theoretically be put to attorneys like myself. There's probably things that I should not say because I know that my clients or the clients of my firm or whatever,
I agree,
it might have an impact. But at some point, you have to say, all right, listen, there is a balance. I care enough about black people and our struggle within this country that I'm not going to shut up. And it might not cause police brutality to end,
but you said
I'm doing something.
I agree. And I don't think, and like I said, you motherfuckers never disagreed on that.
And I would hope.
That was my point.
And I would hope.
Oh, that's what you were trying to say.
I'm trying to tell them they didn't fundamentally disagree on it.
We agree. That's not what you said, though. We agree on the outcome. We agree on the outcome.
I said y'all are not that far off from each other in the base of what y'all saying.
But our methods are completely 100% different.
Exactly. Go ahead, Jen.
I want everyone to take a quick breath.
I know.
Yes, that was heated and it was deep.
I definitely got heated.
It was deep, and it was some really good points. And I knew that this topic was going to evoke some emotion. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, it had to.
I was about to turn the table over.
No. Just everybody breathe. Just breathe.
Thank you.
Okay, so it was two more topics that I wanted to get to before we wrap up.
Get it popping.
I really want to talk about this new challenge that kids are out here doing now called the hot water challenge.
Fuckery.
Now, for those of you who don't know, there's this challenge that kids are doing where requires you to do absolutely idiotic things with boiling hot water. We had so far an 8-year-old died drinking boiling hot water through a straw after a dare. And most recently, I saw a story today where an 11-year-old had scalding hot water thrown on her at a sleepover while she was sleeping.
Where are the parents?
So I just want to talk a little bit about these challenges, these random challenges. And it's really difficult nowadays with technology and social media and the influence that it has on kids. However, I think I'm more so concerned about the kids that are actually taking the steps to do it. I mean, dumb stuff come up all the time, and you see stupid things, but when it impacts your child to actually do something that they know is going to be harming to the person they're doing it to and themselves, that is a greater issue.
Where are the parents?
I don't know where these parents
How
are.
does
Now I know
boiling hot
I know
water-
with the story with the sleepover, there was an adult in the house, and they felt like the adult, did what the adult would do.
They're
The sleepover. You do not
investigating.
stand over top of children with your eyes open while they're sleeping. Sleepover.
The aunt thought that it was hot water and said that she didn't know that it was boiling.
So she
water.
knew they was gonna do that dumb
But
shit.
she knew they were going to throw water
She
on her.
knew that the water was going to happen, but she didn't know that it was boiling water. She thought it was hot water.
And I can almost
I can
understand that because kids do dumb stuff at
All the
sleepover. Like I
time.
knew,
Sure.
like when you go to sleepover,
All the
put
time.
mustard and
The
ketchup
first
in
person
your
fall asleep
hand, and
gets-
yeah,
yeah.
you
When I
know.
was in high school, we used to. I went to a boarding school. We used to run up in people's in their rooms when they were asleep and beat them with homie socks all the time.
Oh,
yeah,
my
that definitely.
Just because. So I can
We used to
definitely
heat up
understand
quarters
that.
and stick them on people's forehead.
That's some old shit right
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, to a certain degree, we know kids are going to be
But hold
kids.
up,
But when
I
it
think
becomes
that-
something like this, where you have coerced an
But how the
8-year-old to
fuck did
drink
you-
water through a straw, this 8-year-old is dead.
But how the fuck did you not know that was boiling hot water though?
The mother,
Oh,
the aunt.
she-
It was the aunt.
Yeah.
Well, they're investigating.
Maybe she knew they were going to do the prank, but she didn't know how
Sway,
hot the water was. I don't know.
How
I
the
don't know.
fuck do you know that you? First and foremost, I had 3 kids, and none of you motherfuckers is touching the stove.
Because it's called the hot water challenge.
Right.
It's called the hot
That's
water
the part of
challenge.
the challenge,
hot
not the
water,
scalding
and
hot.
hot water don't fucking get to the stove or the boiling hot. Like, come on, like
Yeah, and her burns
should've
are
used hot-
significant.
They should have used hot water as opposed to
boiling hot.
Just hot water out the faucet. She would. Well, the
Right, it was
8-year-old
still
girl
burning.
died.
Yeah, the
one who
8-year-old
drunk-
died.
that drunk the water.
Yeah,
she
the
died.
8-year-old died.
So what was the details with that, Jen? Like,
With the 8-year-old,
Yeah.
it was a dare. They dared the 8-year-old to
where the fuck were the parents?
right.
That was the aunt.
But I mean, you
With the aunt, with the
to a
8-year-old
certain-
drinking the water, or
but
the one
you-
getting poured on,
No, the 8-year-old drinking.
drinking the
but
water.
to a certain degree, like you said, no one is actually attached at their child's hip 24/7. You know what I'm saying? I think that at some point we have to instill in our children to have some common sense. You cannot drink boiling water.
And honestly, I think that a lot of it is the influence of social media that
Right.
people want to be cool and they want to be. I mean, we all know how it was. You try to be cool in front of your friends. I used to get my ass whooped by my mom because of that.
Facts, as you should.
right? And so, like, now it's just exacerbated because now you're gonna be like putting it out to social media, so
So-
you have a higher reach.
So it makes being a parent a lot more difficult. Definitely have to be more involved with our kids. Find out what they're into. Find out what's going on. These challenges pop up every other day. It's just really some
Right.
senseless stuff. And it's so widespread now, like you said, with the internet and everything. But these 2 stories are both, attributed to this one challenge. And with the 11-year-old, they charged the 12-year-old with assault. And the 12-year-old has recently tried to commit suicide as a result to this, because I can only imagine, what she's getting from the public because of this, situation. So definitely
Not to-
got to be more involved with our children.
Not to be insensitive to what happened, but
you're about
I
to
can.
be insensitive.
No, I'm not.
That was the preface.
I could take you 2 blocks down from here, and literally show both of you a block where it's now almost 9 o'clock, but come 10:30, it'll be 5 or 6 children, at least under the age of 12, running around with
Yeah.
no supervision in sight.
That's true. That's easy to find.
How is it that a child gets access to boiling water
Mhm.
to where they can influence an 8-year-old to drink it? I mean, at some point where I get it, and I hope to God I never have to live through this, or anybody I know personally,
Right.
but, and I said this on a prior show, and Venro, you're not a father yet, but I believe you would adopt my mentality. As a parent, as a father, you gotta be a fucking asshole. I don't give a
My
like.
father was an
I don't let my mother. I mean, I don't let my kids
100%
do
stab.
shit. I'm like, if they too quiet, yo, what y'all doing? We ain't doing nothing. I don't care. You're lying.
Right.
Straight up.
You're too quiet.
You know what I mean? You just don't. You know what I mean? And I think to your point, we're allowing the media devices, we're allowing social media, we're allowing shit to babysit our children.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, even if I sit around, I tell my kids, yo, they like, what we gonna do? We gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese? We gonna go somewhere? Nah, you gonna sit here and watch me watch you.
Watch me or watch you.
Me watch you. I don't care you bored. You're my child. You don't have an opinion. Straight up. And this is how we were raised.
Child advocates.
Where is it become in society where we let these children?
Kids.
Hey, relax. I'm glad you said my name wrong. Where is it become in society where we have allowed these kids to? You're letting the insane asylum run the show.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. Yeah,
I agree, son.
There's no excuse for that shit.
I agree.
So I know you brought up the issue of Insecure, your favorite show. But we're gonna get to Insecure for a minute. But I just want to talk about this. So everybody knows, unless you've been living under a rock, that some of these major networks have been hacked, right? So we got advanced episodes of Game of Thrones. We got advanced episodes of Power. People are butthurt about Power. Like, I have never seen such involvement, such emotional people about this show. Like, people are really upset about it. And I always said that, one of the things that you can do is, if you know people are going to talk about it, right? And people have the ability to watch it early, how about you just don't get on social media? But
you can't. It's impossible.
I mean, or for a couple hours. I mean, that's always an option, But outside of that, Emilio and I was talking, and we were talking about how people are so heavily involved in these shows,
influenced and involved, and by
Insecure, shows. And even with Power, like with recently with Tasha messing with the lawyer. And here she goes, she worse than Ghost, and this, that, and the third. Like, it was a whole argument. I seen a whole argument go down about how she is the worst woman ever in history, and Ghost is the worst TV wife or whatever. So even with Insecure, but where do you draw the line? Where do you say, this is not particularly real life? And this is for entertainment.
Her husband's a drug dealer. How good do we expect her to be?
Facts.
Okay. Thank you. She's not going to be Mother Teresa.
Her husband sells poison when he tried for a living, and she lives off of it. We can't expect her.
And when he tried to go legit, she virtually looked that man in the eyes and said, "You ain't shit, and you ain't never gonna be shit."
Okay, but he's changing, not her. And then she's being who she's always been.
Then, I mean, right? we're not gonna get into Power too much because Vinra don't watch it. But I'm gonna just tell you what happened first episode.
What?
First episode. Let's just see. Let's hear.
You're in the minority.
You're in the minority. I don't care.
You're probably really, really smart. Like, what did you do on your SAT?
Listen. Here's the thing.
No, for real, because smart people don't watch TV. Like, you know what?
Wait a minute. Maybe if we boycott Power, we can stop and bring awareness to police brutality.
You're an asshole.
Because, the Stars Network.
I don't like
it.
Yeah. Let him have his moment. Let him finish. Do it.
But you do have access. You do have access to Insecure, though.
I do.
How?
Because I got a Roku.
Oh, Roku. Okay.
I got Roku.
You can't get Stars on Roku.
Nah, no Stars.
That's fucked up.
Stars,
but he can watch it on Hulu though.
People are so emotional. Then again, you know what?
Speaking of
I can't say that because I'm a victim. I mean, not victim. I'm guilty of also being very emotionally attached to these shows because I'm an avid watcher of Game of Thrones.
Facebook.
I'm definitely emotionally
I'm an avid watcher of Game of Thrones, and when people get killed in Game of Thrones, my soul be hurt.
So I'm trying to catch up Game of Thrones. Are you caught up?
Yeah.
I'm on season 2, like episode 2.
You got a long way to go.
I don't get it.
You got a long way to go.
I'm not convinced yet.
What?
You watched the whole season 1 and you was not convinced?
You weren't?
You wasn't on the edge of your seat?
I was like, I get that there's like potential for this show.
Listen, let me tell you. This show,
season 2 episode
Game of Thrones, 8. First of all, is amazing. I think it's the highest rated show on cable TV.
I don't get it.
What?
I disagree.
I
feel like I've seen plenty of shows that were better.
Like what?
Breaking Bad is better.
Breaking Bad was
I never
good.
watched
Sons of
I
Anarchy
never
was
got
better.
it. Sons of Anarchy
was
was the
amazing.
truth.
It was freaking amazing.
Was the truth.
I
Okay.
never saw those.
Sons of Anarchy was the
I
truth.
never seen even one. I heard
Wow.
Listen,
You're
you
wild.
need to
You're
go
wild.
home.
Sons of Anarchy, you're wild.
You need to go home and you need to binge watch
and like
it.
and Walking Dead. I never watched that either.
Never seen that either.
Oh
I don't
Walking
like
Dead is
zombie
good,
movies.
but it
I don't
gets
So you
it
don't like
gets
zombie
old.
movie, but you like dragon movie.
Walking Dead gets
Listen.
old. Walking Dead gets old.
Game of Thrones ain't a dragon movie.
No, it's not a dragon
dragons
movie.
in it, but it's
Motherfucker, you haven't even got to
It
the
ain't
point where
dragons.
dragons are.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
The baby's got hatched.
The best shows that are on TV right now is The Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead. You can.
Get the fuck out of Walking
Absolutely.
Dead.
Yes,
No,
The
You're
Walking
right.
Dead
Walking Dead
is
is good.
amazing.
Yo, can I tell you
No.
some real? Can I tell you
Walking
the
Dead
best?
went dead.
Listen. Let,
You know what the best shows on television are?
what?
Insecure.
Insecure is very good.
It's all right. It's one of those.
It's very good.
And I love
It's one of those.
ATL.
I never watched it.
It was
I
funny
never-
as shit though
I
when I
never
watched
watched
it.
it. I never watched it.
I seen a couple episodes. It's pretty funny. It is pretty
Of
funny.
ATL?
I seen a
ATL
couple
was funny
episodes.
as
I'm
shit.
gonna put y'all on to a show that
Listen,
I know none
let
of
me
y'all
tell
have
you.
watched, but it's also hilarious.
Let me tell you.
Like, y'all ever seen two shows on HBO? Veep
Veep.
and
Veep,
yes.
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley.
Watch.
They have that. It's a different kind
I
of
watched
humor.
that,
It's a different
Those
kind
are
of
some
humor.
sort of
Hilarious.
comedies.
But
It's
no,
hilarious.
listen. The Game of Thrones
We're not
and
making
Walking
this a Game of
Dead
Thrones show.
are two shows
We're not making this a game.
that had scenes in it that I felt like I might have had to go to therapy after watching. Like seriously, like
Shame.
Don't ruin it,
Shame.
'cause I'm trying to watch it now.
Shame.
I'm watching it.
Listen, he's
Don't
gonna be
that
all
person
in.
that
He's
ruins
gonna be
it.
all in. He's gonna be all in.
He's already in.
Almost in
You on
episode
season
zero.
2? So you haven't even gotten to the Red Wedding?
No, I haven't gotten to Red Wedding. I've heard about it because I remember when people were talking about
What
it.
is it? Is that the end of this season? Is season
What?
2 that he's in, or was it season 3? No, it's
Y'all
season
not
3.
ruin the show for me.
What, for Game
That's
of
how I'm
Thrones?
telling you,
Yeah,
I'm
please.
watching
Season,
this
the
season.
Red,
Yes.
the Red Wedding was
He's trying to watch it.
Literally, in the
Jen,
process of watching the
You
show,
can't
y'all
get Jen
not-
started on Game of Thrones,
Yeah, because
but it's back to Insecure. Team Lawrence
watch it.
took an L
When
this
does
week.
it get really good though? Because I feel like there's.
Oh my god!
Well, you know, nah.
Like, what's really good? They kill
The
Stark.
last season. I'm saying the last episode of a season. It gets real.
Yeah.
The season I liked in the season 1 was when they killed Stark. I was like, oh, I can
You
see
like
how-
that?
No, I was like, no, I mean, I
It was
can-
entertaining.
I was like,
It was
I
entertaining.
can see how this is about to get exciting. And
You
I
killed
got-
the main character.
It's
and
not
I got
getting-
through half.
No, I see
season
what-
two, and I'm kind of like,
I see what you're saying.
I don't get
It starts
I feel
getting
like they-
Oh, you
very.
will. You will
It
get
starts getting very interesting
You're
in
gonna get
season 3.
All right,
It gets on and
Season
off.
3.
It has its moments for me.
It's not very.
I'm being
just
consistent
not
with it,
there
but it
yet.
has its moments for me.
I'm not there yet.
But
So-
Walking Dead is some trash.
With what?
Some trash.
Well,
I've
Some
seen
trash.
it, though.
It's the same shit every time.
Y'all
It's
want
not.
to get down?
It really.
I watched
Get
it
Down
down.
was
We like
so
that.
I watched it
Y'all
down.
to
good.
get down?
It's
I
only
watched
two
it down.
episodes. Though. I mean,
2 seasons.
They ended it.
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end.
But that to
It
me,
was good,
going
though.
back to our initial
Um,
topic, that reminded me of what.
No,
Baltimore
this is okay. This is what I want to talk
The
about.
South Bronx.
Let's
and
talk
this episode
about-
was
Get
Let's
Down
talk
was good.
about
right.
Underground
Oh,
and why
was
that show has
amazing.
not been picked up by a major
Pick it up.
network
That
Oh,
yet.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Well, we know why.
Underground
Oh,
was
I'm gonna pick it up.
Well, we know why.
absolutely
Oh.
freaking
That show
amazing.
makes sense.
It was
Oh, I'm
on
gonna pick it up.
WGN or something
Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
That's a bad network.
off-brand.
That's a bad network.
Yeah, that's a
Network.
horrible
Oh, my
Chicago-based network
It's amazing.
that
My
Ted
show's
Turner,
good.
I think. I don't know Ted Turner.
And they
had
said
a-
that they are
thing in it.
renewing not because of the ratings. The ratings are amazing. The ratings is the only reason why anybody watches that network at all.
Was it
They're saying it's
expensive?
to production. They can't afford it.
Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, I can imagine.
So
that.
why is no one picking it up? What?
Because if you have a heavy overhead, and you know what I mean.
Netflix will pick it up.
I'm gonna need somebody to pick it up.
Pick it up.
I'm gonna
Netflix
need
will
somebody to
pick
pick
it
it up.
Yeah,
Netflix
Netflix. It's
probably
gonna
makes
happen.
more
up. Netflix will pick it up.
Yeah, somebody gonna.
But can we
I'm
talk about
gonna need-
Insecure?
That's great. Yeah,
Okay,
can we
what,
talk
what
about
do you want to
Insecure?
talk about Insecure?
Team Lawrence.
Team.
You want to
Team
talk
Lawrence.
about? Okay.
All the best buy.
I can feel the anger of hatred
Yeah,
of
you-
women
you know-
in the atmosphere right now. I can feel it.
Yo,
I can feel
the
it.
irony of Lawrence that disgusts me. Women across America make an argument on one party, but then when the black male is thrown in this
Bro,
role,
man.
there's no empathy.
What y'all
There's
gotta
no
do?
sympathy.
What y'all
There's
Now-
no
gotta do?
nothing.
This is what
Representation
this
out
is
here.
what I this
No
is
nothing.
this is one of my
Zero.
Lawrence gets cheated on,
Bro, my
moves on,
hurt.
moves on, okay, and then somehow Issa is still the The victim?
You know what? And then somebody posted this on Facebook, which I thought was amazing. They said, somebody from Baltimore posted on Facebook, they were like, you don't go to a whole phase after you're the one that cheated. The whole phase is for the person that had gotten cheated on.
Right. You supposed to reform.
That is usually how it goes.
Thing I've ever heard.
You're supposed to
And
reform.
you know what pissed me off about that show? You know what pissed me off? Going to that point, how women are taking Team Issa and how everybody's like, "Oh, Lawrence, he wasn't doing no work, and
he was on the couch. He had a dream."
You know what pisses me off?
What?
You know what pissed me off about that show? The sex scene with Daniel was so sensual.
It was.
And then they have Lawrence. I mean, he was doing lips almost like the end of it. He was like on the back. He's just like,
yeah.
And that was and to me, just like
they tried to show. They tried to create a victim even within the person who's cheating. They tried to create the sensitivity even in the person who's cheating. I don't get it.
No, this is what.
And that man was turning Tasha down for months.
For months.
So Tasha was trying for him.
Yes,
and he was like, nah,
she was already seeing that he was not happy.
Home.
Right.
People are like, oh, that.
I ain't never seen Issa in the kitchen.
Never. Oh, don't go there.
Okay.
I'm not
so here is where
I'm saying. Wait. They said. Here's where I'm a little
fickle with the whole insecure thing because, like I said, it's a show and it's meant to be entertaining. However, what I have noticed is when you talk about cheating, I don't care if it's the man or the woman, cheating is wrong. Point blank period. Point blank period is wrong. You shouldn't do it. You know you shouldn't do it, and you know in the middle of you doing it, you shouldn't do it because you gotta hide it. So you know you're wrong. Whether it's the man or the woman.
But
however,
here it goes.
She went.
However,
and then went back to him
when men cheat, it's always the preface of it was a mistake. I made the wrong choice in the moment. Blah blah blah. Want. Please forgive me. And you have women who are more willing to forgive and remain in a relationship. But when the woman cheats, all hell breaks loose, the sky cracks open, everybody gotta die. You want to kill my dog. You don't want to go to work no more. You depressed. You want to check into the hospital. It's like everything in the world ends.
Quiet protester. We're not responding.
You speaking a double standard. See, the problem that we continuously have, and I always say this to you, Jen, y'all believe that you could generalize men to be so different than y'all. Why is it different? What difference
is it? It's not different. It's not different. It's not different. The outcome is different. The response is different.
You know what's even crazier? We don't even know factually how many women cheat. You know why? Because y'all so better at it.
Much.
Y'all so much better at it.
Much.
So how do we even know statistically, numerically, factually that y'all
trying to punish us for doing something well? Is that what you're saying?
What? Doing wrong well?
Exactly. I'm resting my case.
What?
No. Seriously, I think you're missing my point.
No.
Like I said initially, cheating is wrong. I don't care who does it. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is the response is different. You have women who will take a man back and try to work it out, try to figure out why the cheating occurred, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But it seems like more often than not, when the woman cheats, that is it. I don't want to look at you no more. I don't want to see another lady named Issa.
When Lawrence takes Issa back, which is going to happen.
I think so. Probably at some point.
Then what?
He not making a hurt.
No, what a better question is,
is it even there? Because you said the problem is that women take men back. Women take men back, and there's a difference between men who take women back and it's like, you're a type of person. When he does take her back, are you going to eliminate that viewpoint from your head and say, we're all even at that point because we have now him taking her back?
I'll change my viewpoint.
But you know what the better question is? How many? You know what the better question is? Because it's two different schools of thought. How many men you know get cheated on? One. No, but that you know of. One, here's the thing. Men culturally, we're not open to be like, dog, I found my lady was cheating on me. Because the response that you and I going to give versus what they give, you're going to be like, you a failure. You are terrible. How you didn't see that happening? I told you she was getting laced. I told you. And then with y'all more open to share that because y'all want somebody to cry y'all a river. That's what happens.
I wouldn't say cry
that's culturally what happens. I'm just saying that's what happens.
You are more so focused on somebody being a victim. I'm not saying anybody's a victim.
I'm telling the truth.
Right. Like, why does it have to be? Why does it have to be a victim story.
Okay,
We're not saying it's a victim story.
It's not a victim story. Y'all gonna have more of a consensus to support that woman, whereas men, we're gonna clown them. Right. And then two,
so you just don't know.
So we don't know. You don't know. You can't count on your hand how many.
I promise you that if we had men who were being honest and you went and talked to your friends, there's a bunch of dudes.
It happens a lot. And then two,
but you would never know about it because we don't talk.
And then two,
I agree with you on
because y'all are so good at it. How many men don't know that they're getting cheated on?
Savages.
I mean, you don't have to address the issue till you know it's an issue.
Savages.
Oh, so that's your excuse.
I'm just saying.
So because they don't get caught,
so basically,
there's no sympathy for Team Lawrence.
Men need to be a better. Men
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not giving. I'm not giving any sympathy to anyone. Like I said, it was something that was wrong, and she.
I think that
when you're an adult,
I think that your sexual purpose is incorrect. When men cheat, and it's known that they cheat, they get ostracized by the women friends.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about he ain't shit, and they tell other women that he ain't shit. And they go on websites and say he ain't shit, right?
Blogs.
So then, how is that like
this
concept that men cheat without punishment is complete?
No, I never said no punishment. I never. That's not what I'm saying.
The difference that you just made.
So what my point is, when men cheat, you know, you get the ostracizing from the family, the friends, and all of that. However, more likely than not, more likely than not, you will have women who are willing to stay in that relationship and figure out what happened. So why did you cheat? But blah blah blah. Listen, I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm just saying this is what.
That's what.
General consensus.
That's what.
That's all I'm saying.
So my response to that is that if she decides to take him back, then she has made an analysis that has said that even though he cheats, if you put the pros and cons of being with that man, that the pros must outweigh the cons, or that she wouldn't take it back.
Okay, and I agree with you.
Maybe
I agree with you.
And so maybe the problem is that for men they don't take women back because when they.
So you saying that only the women that she have no pros?
No, I'm not saying that they don't have any pros.
They have no value in the relationship.
The pros versus the cons.
He makes the analysis.
Everybody's growing up here. We have to make determinations of what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
The fact that she has determined that she's going to take him back, she has weighed the pros versus cons that he is worth taking back. If a guy doesn't take somebody back, that's because he's determined that it's not worth it.
But the reality is we're speculating because we don't. The reality is we're speculating because we don't know. You don't know, Jen. You can't count on your hand how many guys you know. I personally know.
Oh no, go ahead.
I can personally count on my hand
because I have a large amount of men.
I personally can, but they don't tell you all of that though.
They've been cheated.
They don't tell you all of that though. Did they take the women back?
Savages.
A few.
Did they? Oh wait. So that negates your entire argument.
No.
You personally know brothers who have taken their women back.
No. Listen.
That's society.
That's
society.
Society
has told her to think the way that she does, and she's just accepted it.
How, Sway?
I am offended. Really?
How, Sway?
Really?
You just told us that you
why
know
did it take Lawrence to change your mind when you know personally
that Lawrence
I'm not speaking.
You had the audacity to sit here and talk about how generally how women take their hand back.
Excuse me. First of all, Mr. July, I might not be a lawyer, but I was on the debate team. We can do this, okay? Okay. Second of all, you cannot take the instance of a few people and just hone in on it. I'm talking about. I'm making a generalization.
Exactly.
I'm making generalizations. I am.
So what you're doing is you're taking a general statement about men and women and comparing it to the specific information that you got from your friends, and saying that the generalization to have more weight than the specific male friends that you know that got you no sense.
You know what? I want an attorney. You have completely twisted up everything I've said. You've completely twisted up everything I've said. And I feel like,
Lawrence.
You invited him here on this for just this reason, didn't you?
I'm so glad.
This is
glad that I got invited to talk about Team Lawrence.
I mean, seriously though, the rationale. I've
nobody.
Seen. All right, so Vinroy doesn't watch Power, right? But let me give you the synopsis of how crazy it is, right? Power in the first episode of Power, right? Vinroy, you listening?
I am.
Ghost is the main character.
I've watched. So let me be clear. I watched the first season.
All right, well, cool.
Oh, you watched the first season?
So
Okay.
the first episode, first season, Ghost is going
Oh my God,
downstairs
here we go again.
to approach Angie, who at the time we don't know who this chick is. She turns out being the one that he let go, his true love, whatever. And he hugs her. He has a conversation with her, and boom, because his wife Tasha did not get the attention that she wanted. That was unintentional.
Was that the first episode?
I like where you're going with this.
She decides.
Was that the first episode?
This was exactly the first episode. Go back and watch it if you want to.
Was that the first episode?
It was the first episode. I'll bet you $100. Go back. So then she leaves the club, gets in the car with her driver, who is his nephew. And she gets butt naked and she rubs one out in front of him. So not only at this point has Ghost not cheated, he has no intention of cheating. We don't know about anybody that he's cheated with, but she's already violated and crossed the line with somebody that comes in her house daily. So that lets me know it was gonna go down one way or another. But do you know there are women out there that still condone the behavior?
Who condoned it? I don't remember seeing.
I said there are women. There are plenty. There are plenty. There are team
that
were
condoning
team.
what she did in the car.
Absolutely.
With Sean?
Well, first of all, the first discrepancy is y'all start to act like Trump with the fake news and be like, "Was that first episode?" Yeah, it was first episode.
I don't
goddammit.
think it was the first damn episode.
It was the first episode. I remember titties when I seen it.
I believe you.
It was the first episode. Goddamn, I seen titties on the first episode. That was the first episode.
I believe you.
The first episode.
I don't care if it was the first episode or the last episode. Like I said before when you brought this up,
And
the last time we met, it was wrong. It was definitely wrong.
He smashed his nephew?
Terrible person.
Huh?
Terrible.
So that makes what Ghost did right.
It's like
can you imagine if a man
we picked
on the
up
first
the conversation
show,
midstream. We don't know how many nieces he smashed.
No, he didn't.
The
So I know
whole
that you
thing was
didn't.
picked up.
Now you're reaching. Now you're reaching. Now you're reaching.
Such a reach.
Now you're reaching.
Okay,
That's such a reach.
Now you're reaching.
That's such a
It's
reach.
not reaching. I'm not
Have
reaching.
you gotten anything throughout any of the
Women-
other episodes that indicate that he has any history?
Yeah,
It was the first
God.
episode.
Where's the bird?
we
The
were-
bird.
we
Here
had-
we go.
We didn't get the character development, and she was back there popping it off.
Both of y'all know about women. And if one
was
thing
the
y'all
first
know
episode.
about women,
Bet money.
listen.
Go look it up.
It was the first episode, but one thing
That's what I think.
One
Bet
thing
I
that
could be wrong.
y'all know about women is this:
Uh-oh.
they
He about
don't
season foul.
do
Hold
things just to do them. If they do something, it's because you did something, or they think you did something. They do. That's how they move. That's how women move.
She did it
Women
to set
are
up.
emotional.
She did it to
Women
set up
are
some people.
emotional
to wake
and
up.
reactionary.
She did it to set up some buns
Women-
later.
Women are not
That's what she did.
logical. They are emotional
Oh, I agree with
and
that.
reactionary.
I agree with that.
I don't disagree with that. Free world. I don't disagree.
They are reactionary.
I don't agree with anything this man
But
said.
she react. Yeah, she was reacting.
Okay, listen. Let me jump on the male
she
show
saw-
bandwagon with y'all.
She saw
Don't
mom
jump on
in
it.
the
I
club.
ain't gonna
Oh, yo,
make
it's
it.
y'all on.
I'm tired of y'all. Excuse me, hold up. First of all, I'm tired of y'all setting me up. You know what I'm saying? This is the second time you had me here with a whole bunch of dudes.
bring your crew
I'm
on.
bringing all the ladies in
Bring
here
your
next
crew
time.
on.
All
You've been
other
supposed to
girls
do
who
that.
come in here because
You
this is some bull.
your crew let you down today.
Friends.
Your crew
How
let you
many
down
of us
today.
have them?
I told you I had my guy. I had
Listen,
my gun.
girls
I had
you
my
can't
chamber.
depend
I had my
on.
one
But you
in
know
the
what?
chamber.
I don't need no backup. I don't need no backup.
You know
I
we
said,
telling the
How many of
truth.
us
I
have
said it
them?
from the jump. She was
Friends.
wrong. However, you want to
Who,
make it
Issa or
seem like
Tasha?
she is the villain and Ghost is the
Issa or
angel.
Tasha.
Is she wrong, or did he marry the wrong chick?
Woman.
She
Whoa.
just being who she
Whoa.
is.
Wait a minute.
She just being who she is.
Wait a minute.
You can't save him.
Wait
No matter how
a
much
minute.
money you got. No matter if you
Hold
got
on.
clothes.
Listen,
He married the right
She who
chick.
she is.
He married the right chick for what he was doing at that moment. She was the perfect wife for a kingpin.
She should have just
But
been
then
a
when you
girlfriend.
decided you
She
didn't want to
should've
be a
just been
kingpin no more and do a
Ooh,
360 and be
She
an
should've just
upstanding citizen, that probably wouldn't
No,
be
she
the best
was
mate for
girlfriend
you.
material, but she wasn't wife material.
Well, hey, I mean, I can't make that.
How you know that?
It was
Because
Because of what she does.
We need somebody that's
Wives don't fuck the lawyers.
But he said it in one of the I
Ooh.
think the last episode.
Sorry.
I mean,
No disrespect.
No, the last,
I'm just shut my ass
in the last episode, when he gave her that big ring, and he said, the first one I gave it to you because you were going to make me a better drug dealer.
And he said,
That's what
"This
she
one I'm
wanted.
giving to you because you're making me a better man."
She just wanted somebody that was standing on the corner all the time. She didn't want better.
Okay.
She
He should have
did.
left her in the projects.
And then when he was in jail,
She
always
didn't
see-
elevate.
so
She
look
didn't elevate. He elevated. She didn't elevate. She still got the project mentality.
yeah.
He should have left her in the projects. Nothing wrong with that. You got the project. Somebody got to live there.
I mean, what
Now,
kind
she
of
She might not be the best maid. I'll give it to her, but I mean, you
She
got
may
you
not
got to
be.
give her some
She
credit
may
how
not
she
be the
hustled and
best maid.
bustled
What
when
did
she
she
was
do?
locked up.
When he was locked up.
She
Wait,
made
what did she do when he was locked up?
Because she could have taken the
The
deal and
nasty-
testified against him.
She let the boy.
she do that?
She let the boy get with Canaan.
Did she
and
do
Sip
that?
Scissor. She took a deal with
Did
the white
she
man
do
Stern
that? She did not throw him
She
under
took
the
a-
bus
because
and
she
rolled
knew
out that whole
because she
case
knew
with
it
him.
would end her whole way
She
of life.
didn't know. She didn't know.
How did she?
wasn't
She
sure.
even said it.
She's not smart.
She even said no.
She's not
She even said it. She
Tasha
even
isn't
said the only reason I gotta put up this front to be his wife is that I can't testify against him. She knew it was
But
up.
they knew it was a loophole where she could testify against him.
No. You're reaching. You're reaching. No, we don't.
Oh, you
Not
ain't
at all.
seen none of that. You gonna forget all
We
this
give
stuff.
zero fucks.
Women,
Not my
Just
favorite.
women
know
defend
at the
any
two most
action by
dominant
another
black
woman.
the
That's
two
not
most
true.
dominant black shows
I
right
think
now
that you would
Because I
have
said
two
all the time that
scumbag
she was
cheaters.
wrong.
You would defend a female serial killer because you would be like, well, you don't know what she's been through. Like, it's literally women
But you
will
were doing
defend
that
everything.
too. You were doing the same thing.
I'm
But
not-
you're like, we don't know what.
No, I'm
what-
saying
we don't
she
know
has
what
her
goes,
reasons.
who goes cheated on.
She
prior
has-
to.
Everybody has a
She has her
reason.
reasons. for
Everybody
doing
has
it.
a reason, but right is
They
right
just
and
not
wrong is
good
wrong.
reasons,
But
but she got
I
reasons.
said from the jump that she was wrong, though.
Yeah, but you
And that should be it.
Yeah, that's
She's
it.
wrong, and that's it.
That's it. It ain't no buts to
Oh, okay. Remember, you two said this.
Yeah.
She's wrong, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Facts.
I
Yeah,
promise
can't
you, it's
defend
gonna
her.
bite y'all in
Facts.
the ass. It's
Okay.
gonna come back.
it. Oh,
'Cause I'm
oh,
not
because
gonna
you watch
forget.
because you watch the
I'm
further
not gonna
seat
forget.
show.
That's okay. No, I'm not.
Damn that.
Nope.
Damn that.
This was a hell of a debate.
This is a good show. I like to
This
thank
was
our
iconic.
guests.
We didn't take no break.
We didn't even take no break. We went straight through.
That
2
guy was
hours
like,
to talk.
Ridiculous.
2 hours of
Y'all
talk.
gonna end the damn show. Got my blood pressure up. That's fine.
I like to thank Brother Vinroy July for coming out.
Thank you,
and-
Mr.
and
July.
parlaying
We
with us.
appreciate you.
Taking some time out of his busy schedule. You know, DK got engaged in conversation.
I mean, read y'all
Always.
something real quick.
Miss Pope was
Michelle,
in there.
Michelle
mediating
said,
and getting it
let
popping.
me tell you something Michelle said. So Michelle said,
Michelle.
she's a viewer. So she
Okay.
said that we're spending too much time talking about what will work and what does not work. We need to have a real conversation about what we're going to do. Where are the solutions?
Right.
So there are a couple other comments, but that one kind of stood out to me.
That's it.
Definitely.
Yeah, solution
We
focused,
definitely need
most
to
definitely.
be more solution focused. I think the thing is people just really don't know where to start. It's such a large issue. It's like, where do we begin? Where do we pinpoint it?
And you can't also. I also like to call it rhetoric. You know, I usually say alpha rhetoric because in our fraternity we have a lot of discussion about things. It's like, yeah, you can be solution focused, but to Vinroy's point, doing something is better than doing nothing. Doing something is better than doing nothing.
Just be in motion.
Gotta be in motion, because if you're sitting there, you know, all these meetings and these conferences and these town halls, I never remember anything happening from those.
You had a point.
You know what I mean?
You want to do your trash plug before we end?
Say what?
You didn't talk about the trash.
Oh yeah. I gotta go on my trash rant. You know, as I was
You got
driving
like 45
here,
seconds.
I definitely saw somebody just throw a bag of trash out the window.
God, I
Yo,
hate it too.
It's your Baltimore. Don't trash it.
Don't stop throwing the trash out. Like, it's getting ridiculous. Pick up the trash. You know, you don't have to have the most well manicured lawn.
Okay?
You don't have to have a flower bed. But just tell people not to empty trash on the street.
Well, here
Pick
we
up
have
the
it.
trash.
Solutions oriented. I know Alpha Phi Alpha, we're actually planning a trash
Community
pickup,
cleanup.
community cleanup in Highlands Market, which is where I
That's
live,
what's up.
for the very purpose of the fact that we're
You're more like Appleton.
But
Highlands Market,
on to
whatever.
solutions.
2 blocks.
Would it be feasible to have a trash can on every corner?
So honestly, I actually brought that up because I brought it up to a council member because I said rather than just picking up the trash, I'm not gonna say because I don't want to say it based on what the response was. Okay. So I brought it to my council member, shut up. I brought it to a council member, and he explained to me. I said rather than just picking up trash, can we find that we can just get trash cans installed throughout the city, in our neighborhoods, so that people can throw stuff in there. He said that Department of Public Works will not allow you to do that because then they have to pick up the trash because according to them, those trash cans just get filled up by household items by the people who are in that community and they don't want to.
But my thing is that people would rather throw it in the trash can.
I agree.
But there's not a trash can right there.
But I'm not walking down 2 blocks to throw it in the trash.
I agree. But
So I'm gonna just put it right
to
here.
me, there's a fundamental problem.
That's a big.
And you know what's so bogus about that fucking response is that depending on the neighborhood you go to, there's consistently trash and then dog receptacles for dog parks and dog feces and shit. Right. So it's like you pick and choose what you want to do.
My thing is this: they in their defense, the people in the community. If there were more trash days, they wouldn't have those. You know what I mean?
They wouldn't have the large receptacles and all of that.
And so they house it like I need to throw. They don't come get the trash that much.
Agreed. So I'm throwing it outside.
That's all.
Yeah, and we stopped the trash. They stopped the frequency of the trash days.
Yeah, we used to have like 2 days.
At least.
Now is it 1? I think.
If that.
It's 1.
If that.
One recycle is a recycle day, and then it's a trash day.
In my hood, we had Wednesday.
You talking about bulk trash days?
It was 2.
Yeah, I'm talking
about bulk trash days.
Right. I'm talking
not
about
just
came through and
throwing
got
the trash.
Oh, just
bulk trash days.
Oh, okay.
Where you didn't have to call 311. You didn't have to call 311.
No.
You had the bulk trash days where they came around and you just knew, all right, I gotta get rid of this big ass mattress, this couch, whatever, that it was gonna happen. You know what I mean? And then the city dumps it backlogged and
well, they say they can't afford to pay the sanitation workers to do it because we so broke.
When you have this is another problem that I have. You have parking meters in these residential areas. You go to Johns Hopkins on Broadway. You don't see a single car on site on the street, right? But there's meters everywhere. You mean to tell me motherfucking residents don't drive and they don't want to park in front of their houses? You go to McCullough Homes, okay? They got parking pads, so that's cool to some degree. But then there's metered parking everywhere outside of their homes. Where's the money going to all of that? You're getting money for people to park. You're putting it in high concentrated work areas where people from the state have to pay for parking. Same thing around the subway places. Where's all the money going? You can get a fine in this motherfucker for high grass way faster than anything else.
True.
But where the fuck is the money going? We can't afford crossing guards. We can't afford this and that, but you tax motherfuckers every time they turn around.
And the city
Where's the money going?
The city streets are terrible. I had to get the alignment. I don't know how many times.
Right. Where's the money going?
Where is the money going, Baltimore? Do anybody know? Anybody got any answers?
I don't know. I would like to know.
We're going to find out next time.
I would like to know.
We can do some research. Let's find out where the money going.
Nah.
You don't want to do that?
EJ ain't trying to do that work.
Or that's too much?
You the lawyer. You the lawyer.
You know where the money is?
Do you prefer to be called lawyer? Because most people say like lawyer, but technically it's lawyer.
How is it technically law?
Right, it's liar.
No.
Liar.
There we go. I don't like this guy.
Well, we like to thank everybody who viewed the SpeakEasy. Like to thank Vinroy July for coming out once again. Love to thank my co-host, Miss Pope, and our operator and overall host, Diamond K, who morning show is 7 days a week, 9 a.m. at radioonfire.com. Follow him at the Diamond K Williams. No, the Diamond K Morning Show, and then Diamond K Williams is his personal Facebook. If he chooses, I don't know how he operates that, but I'll put him out there.
We will be back August 24th.
August 24th.
And I'm officially calling that my birthday show. It's Leo season.
Okay.
I'm gonna be turned.
I do have somebody who wants to come in that day too. It is a female.
Okay. Is she will help me celebrate my birthday? Because I'm all for it.
I guess so.
We're gonna talk about it because she wanted to get on board.
I mean, she at least might support your female ideals.
No, we're not talking about female ideas. We're talking about my birthday. You're not listening, bro.
Yeah, always about female ideas.
Yeah, somehow.
You know
But I think we out.
Yeah, we done.
I think we out.
Yeah.
Walking Dead is still some